And here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the Brazilian Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Alien Esports. It is INexorable. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Exemius Gaming. It is Shakti. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, predictions now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as you get your gamma going. Again, I do give the edge to INexorable coming into this, but I never want to count Shakti out. You know, he's near and dear to our hearts. You know, Shakti, one of the first players we ever casted on the channel. I say one of the first players, one of the first pro players we ever casted on the channel, as back in the day we did cast Copa America. We were the official English cast of Copa America. That was back in 2019. Copa America was basically WCS Latin America back in the day. That was WCS Latin America, so we covered players like Cham, like Special, like Jim Rising, and I want to say that Shakti was a part of that season as well. If so, I mean, hey, that was our first foray into the pro scene back in 2019. Before that, we only casted amateur players. Only amateurs. But here we go. We do have our setup. It's going to be a gate expand opener here out of Shakti into the cyber core. So far so good. Likewise, a single gas opener out of INexorable, going for something more economic. So racked expand from our Terran player and gate expand from our Protoss. So we're gearing up towards a longer game, or at least towards economic openers in towards the mid game. So far this series we've had a lot of fast games, a lot of aggression, a lot of all-ins, but that's not what we're seeing here. Here we can sink our teeth into this back and forth. Let's go. As the Reaper is moving out. Good to see Kalasi in the chat. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Good to see you. Reaper does move out across the map. So far, Shakti setting up. Sentry is out. And Sentry should be enough to defend as the first probe does fall. A bit of a greedier opener here out of Shakti. As you can imagine, this Sentry is less mobile than an Adept. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to defend here. One probe already falls. Can we get two? Up. Reaper dips in. Just the one. Gets a full scout. Does confirm the tech of choice. Going to be a Twilight Council opener. And the Hallucination gets across the map for a full scout of the main. Or at least it should. Right now, Shakti is distracted. Once again, the Reaper just running rings. Oh, the Force Field! Let's go! Force Field locks down the Reaper, and Shakti defends. Meanwhile, here comes a Hallucination with barely enough progress left to get into the main base, just barely, and does scout the main. Whew. Does confirm the 1-1-1. Does confirm, is aware. Behind this, settling into his two-way setup. Gateway's on the way. Of course, back in the day, Shakti used to be known as Nano. I guess technically, Shakti was known as Shakti, then name switched to Nano, then back to Shakti. It's almost like Wayne, if Wayne went back to Vanya instead of Wayne. Almost. As we have our second Hallucination Scouts, confirming that there is no crazy early add-on. Does get us in the Widow Mine, and we are getting ready here for a Mine Drop. So Widow Mine Drop opening here out of INexorable, then followed by the 3-1-1 setup. As Widow Mines are moving out. It's got to be on Shakti to defend and to deflect. We'll see if he can. Can. Once again, going to be boosting in. Now Shakti taking his third base. So economic open out of Shakti, going blink, sorry, 2-gate blink into a third base. Charge follow-up. Ooh, massive blink. Takes out the Medivac for the Windmine to do unload. And the shots are going to be going up. Oh my god. Bit of a mess. Oh no! Oh, Jesus. Bit of a messy defense here, almost shot in towards the right hand side, but last, thankfully not quite. Gets one probe. That was scarily close. Wait, I saw the shot like just diving on the right hand side, just being sent towards the mineral line. Hey, my heart, baby, my heart. Gateway explosion behind this. It's not a 2-base all-in. We are getting up to a 6-gate setup, so 6 gateways on 2 bases. Sorry, 6 gateways on 3 bases. From here, we can start taking into splash damage once the gases are taken, if the gases are taken. Right now, we can't really afford Colossus or Storm, but once we take the gases, we can start taking that direction. Until then, it's just going to be Stalkers and Charge Lots. Gateway focus. Swarm Toss style, if you will. It's going to be that Swarm Toss. Again, Shakti, he lost 2 probes and a Stalker. So far, minimal losses here from our Protoss player, as he's getting up to an 8-gate setup. Ooh, remember what I said about the gases and splash damage? Based on the 8-gate production setup here and Double Forge, we're not taking gases. We're not taking gases. This is mass charge lot here from Shakti. This is a terrifying composition, and the goal and where this really does thrive and the strength of this is if INexorable moves out. If he moves out, if he gets caught out in the open, out in the center, or even on Shakti's side of the map, that is what he wants. Trying to break a defending player can be quite difficult. If INexorable realizes what's happening, he can turtle up. Speaking of, Raven does get into the main, and probes are falling. And probes are going down. There'll be 6 worker kills already. Get 6 probes. Shield barriers on the way. Stalkers, they blink back. And here comes INexorable. INexorable, he is pushing. Shakti getting a 4th. That's quite greedy here. We need an army right now. We need to warp in. Where are those zealots? Okay, zealots are warping on the right hand side. The 4th base is so greedy. Skin reveals the charge lots, reveals lack of gas. And Shakti, has he cut too many corners? As INexorable's moving forward. Shakti, gonna try to engage. Nice force fields. He locks down the army. The mine shots. Brutal mine connections. Initially, Shakti is holding, he's buying time. Extra weapons of zealots on the way. But again, he needs more time here. Once again, diving forward. Nice kiting here by INexorable. He shuts down the zealots. His zealots, they fall one after the other. Likewise, bleeding out a lot of Marines, a lot of bio. And he might not have enough. Yeah, he doesn't. Ooh, clutch hold here by Shakti. He was greedy. Rushing into a 4th base while INexorable's on 2, by the way. But he got away with it. Did it get away with it? Again, as you mentioned, like ideally when you go for this mass zealot style, you want to fight out in the open like we just saw. You don't want to push into a defending Terran, a turtling Terran. And Shakti takes a bit of engage. Takes the better fight. He lost 22 zealots, but remember, that's only minerals. Zealots, they only represent minerals here, not gas. So efficient trays, drop back into the mineral line. Shakti out of position, pushing across the map instead. Does warp in back at home. Does reinforce. At the same time moving in. There's no tanks behind this. Wooderman's just now popping out. Shakti does trade well. Baiting out those mine shots, trying to force a bit of friendly fire. Running out of zealots, so Stalkers have to back off. Back at him, Shakti, he defends. But alas, so does INexorable. He also does hold. And Shakti did overextend here. Has to pull away. Again, the reinforcements, they take so long to get across the map. There is no robo, so no war prism. We have more gates on the way. Shakti, he has so many minerals. Let's go. Getting up to a 10-gate setup. 10 gateways. Another, it's just the mass expanding. Like this is the hard style of TVP. He did flex this as mass expansion, mass zealot. This is what, back in 2022? Not too long ago, back in EPT Taiwan Hong Kong. Maybe 2021. But zealots, they are breaking through. Once again, the terrain here is being quite an obstacle here for the mass zealot. Quite an obstacle. Mine shots going up. They do go off, they shut down the zealots. Now basically, whenever the zealots run out, Shakti has to back off. Like, these are very precious units, the Stalkers I mean. Because he isn't rebuilding the Stalkers. INexorable is overstimmed. He's overstimmed, a bit of friendly fire. And you can see how close Shakti is to breaking his opponents. If only he had either a proxy gateway or a war prism. If only. But without bunkers, without SimCity, like INexorable, this is a tough hold. Here's a tough defense. Picking up more SCVs. Bunkers on the way behind the mineral line. Boys are being pulled. And this time we have more zealots. Reinforcements are on the way. Does dive in, takes that one, gets 2 medevacs. 2 medevacs go down, widow mines as well. Nice pickoffs, getting another medevac. Very nice pickoffs here by Shakti. Nice whole position microwave with those SCVs. Bunker is now done, but the CC, oh my god. It's getting very low. And the command center is getting low. More SCVs are getting targeted. And Shakti, he's done it. He has broken the back of INexorable. A couple of ghosts are popping out, but it's too late. It's too little too late. Shuts down the bio. Takes down the CC. Oh my god. And Shakti did overwhelm. Again, just mass expansions, 0 gases, or I should say just 2 gases in the main. And just mass zealot, just sending it, papi. He's got +3 on the way. Like, the upgrades are solid. He's getting to 3/3 upgrades already. And INexorable, he just wasn't fully aware what was coming his way. If you're curious, how do you defend against this? SimCity. You need SimCity, you need to wall up and wall off. GG gets called, and Shakti takes a lead in the series. GG. GG, well played. Does take a lead. And with that, Shakti is now 1 game away from knocking INexorable out of the tournament. Let's go. Let us go. And again, yeah, that style can be quite oppressive. This is a composition, this is a style that used to be quite trendy a couple of years ago. I did bring up Haas's name, and Haas did popularize it, that is true, and then it kind of hit the mainstream. We can get into it here. But it did hit the mainstream, and when it did hit the mainstream, it became quite a difficult style to play against. Winding it back here, how you would need to play against this, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when you're the defending Terran player. Doesn't feel good when you're the defending Terran player, but basically you have to forego map control. You have to back off. You cannot go for these early pushes. You have to retreat, and you have to set up back at home with bunkers, with depots. The worst thing, or the most difficult thing for Zealots to deal with is SimCity. As you could even see when we saw the Zealots trying to push into the mineral line, like the gas geyser and the bunker were a big obstacle for those Zealots to really get any value here. So creating these choke points, these artificial choke points with your buildings is necessary. It doesn't feel good to be forced to be defensive, but you need to be. Like, you can't move out, you can't try to be active. Like, that's exactly what the Protoss player wants, because then you're fighting without that defensive advantage, without that SimCity. So typically you do have to kind of like just back off, forego map control, turtle up instead, just wall up on your 3 bases, slowly get a 4th base, and then when you have a more robust army with ghosts, with widow mines, you know, 150 supply plus, then you can start being active, then you can start moving out. That's typically how you would approach this. But again, this was also more of a style before INexorable, you know, hit the pro level, right? Like this was back in like 2021, 2022 sort of era of StarCraft, before INexorable had hit GM and yeah, had kind of reached the upper echelons of play. So we'll see how he can adjust if it's the same style. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Frostline, we have our Brazilian Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Alien Esports down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is INexorable. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Easy Gaming, leading the series 1-0 with a very old style. It is Shakti. We go. Now, Shakti, he is not a one-trick pony. He's very diverse when it comes to his play, so we could see the same style, or we could see something very different. My eyes are on Shakti here. Again, nowadays, as I mentioned, he is more of a part-time player. He plays in his free time, I should say. He's not as devoted as he used to be, and because of that, he might be a little bit more free to try some more crazy builds and try some more unique styles as well. I'm sure there's a lot less pressure on him than there used to be. Here we go. Here's now setting up. Nexus is on the way. So once again, gate expand. Likewise, ooh, double factory. So different opener. Double factory here. Sorry, double gas, I meant to say. Double gas by INexorable into a factory setup, into a delayed CC. This is going to be a more aggressive start here from our Terran player. This can lead into additional Reaper Hellion early on. This can lead into early Widowmine or a committed Widowmine drop. This can lead into early Cyclone production, early tank drop. This can lead into Banshees as well. INexorable, he has options, but I do like that he's mixing it up here against Shakti. Going to try to be more assertive early on. Let's go. Let us go. As INexorable is checking for proxies, is scouting. Checks top left, checks bottom right. INexorable does attempt to confirm what's going on and make sure it doesn't get caught with his pants down. As we do have a Twilight Council opener out of Shakti. Twilight Council once again has the same SimCity setup. Meanwhile, Reactor Reaper Hellion is on the way. Now, the goal here with Reactor Reaper Hellion is ideally to break through the initial gateway units and to bust into a mineral line to get some economic damage done. And we'll see what he can get done. We can see what he can do, as Hallucination does confirm the Reaper Hellion. So Shakti, he is aware. He is aware of what's coming his way. He does have a sentry, does have force fields. He is ready to receive. They bust into the main. They get a probe so far. They got one worker. Hellie's into the mineral line. So far, though, Shakti, he responds in time. Good reaction. Does pull away. Does pull away. Does save his workers. INexorable pivoting away. Pulling back. Regrouping. And diving in once in. He wants a sentry. Does want a shield battery within range. Saves a sentry. Nice on there by Shakti. He had to pull back in time. As getting his third. Just like the previous game, what do we see here? 2-gate opener, 2-gate blink into a third base, and this last game led into a massive gateway explosion with charge and double forge. Does Shakti go for the same style? Does he do it again? To see INexorable following this up with a mine drop, tech lab on the factory, into his tank production, and the Reapers, they dip into the main. Into the main base. They get 2 probes so far. Moving away. And the mine drop has yet to commit. Rotating over into the main. Hellion Reaper are going to be distracting towards the natural. Attempt to distract. Getting a probe while Shakti's distracted. Here comes the mine drop. Does he notice in time? Oh, he does. He does well. Oh no! Oh my god, massive connection. 7 probes go down. It did not react in time. And with that INexorable, he does pop up. Strong start. Strong start for INexorable. Meanwhile, soldiers get across the map. Bunker is all done. The Marines are being targeted, but we have plenty to defend. Bunker does complete. And INexorable, he should be securing himself. And do you see what I see? Double forge. Double forge. Gateways. No gases at the natural. No gases at the third base. Zealot charge is on the way. This looks like the same style so far. Does look like the same setup. Wouldn't mind as they come back in. Oh no! Shakti! Up! Whew, does pull away. Better response. Leading out only 2 probes. Only 2 workers. But we are waiting for those gateways. And here they come. And it's the same thing. Okay, same build 2 games in a row. Now, what I will say, this time INexorable is aware. This time he is more or less aware of the strengths of this build. And quickly checking his vision here, he didn't see the forges. He didn't see the forges, didn't see the gateways yet either. So INexorable, he does not have confirmation. He has no confirmation yet as to what's happening. Third TC is on the way. He's building up towards stim and +1. Now, I am concerned if he blindly moves out with his stim timing. If he moves out with his stim timing, then we could see a repeat of last game, where Shakti engages in the center of the map, he overwhelms the army, he gains map control, and he never lets go. He then never lets go. So a lot of this is going to come down to INexorable scouting and then his reaction to what he sees. But he hasn't scouted yet. There's a lot riding on either the mine drop to get an eye on the main, or a scan. As INexorable, his army gets spotted. Shakti will slow it down. Picks up a marine. And INexorable, he's not pushing. He's getting his third. This is a good thing. This is a good sign so far. By now, at this point in this game, he scans. Okay, I was going to say in game 1, he would have already been moving out by now. He scans the natural. He sees no gases. That is a tell. It doesn't say everything, but it is a sign of things to come. Order towers into the third base, also confirming no gases. And now he should know. Seeing no gas at either the third or the natural, like that's enough. And what do we have? We have liberators on the way. Shakti is moving out. We're still lacking some bunkers here, but there's at least the one here at the natural. Shakti rotating over. INexorable getting some spotted depots. For the most part, being much more secure at home. Oh. As he does rotate. Does rotate over. Liberators are set. This time a much stronger position here for INexorable. Does chase, gets a couple of zealots. And I worry if he chases this across the map. He's going to try to take down the sentry. INexorable, he does commit. Shakti, from here he can back off. He can get extra warp ins. And ideally, Shakti wants to surround this army. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for a surround. Wants to engage before the tanks do siege. Shakti, you can see here, he's got mass zealot. Like, INexorable, he has to get the hell out of here. I mean, this arena with this choke point, alleyway, pretty strong. Let's make sure he doesn't get surrounded. Shakti pulls away. Does come across the main army. Mine show going up. And so far, INexorable, he does Kai well. Force field working against Shakti. As also going to be falling, and INexorable, he does take the much better fight. And much better engage here. Takes out all the zealots. Did lose his tanks. True. Tanks did go down. Has to pull away. Shakti still reinforcing. Now is taking gases. And now is taking up into double robo, triple robo into Colossus. Very interesting transition here, but that's a lot of gases being taken. So Shakti, the opener was the same, but he is transitioning out of this. There are layers. Now, what I will say is that he's vulnerable. Right now, Colossus production only just began, and there's no range. There's no range on the Colossus. So right now, INexorable has an advantage, has a lead. He can move out here and now, and Shakti is in a bit of trouble. Let's pull away, getting another base. Getting another expansion. Liberator has arrived. Probe's going to be falling in the main base, and sorry, in the natural and in the fourth. Missile goes off. INexorable playing this out well. Moving out with a second army. It's going to be 13 probe kills. Moves out with the second force. Up. Gonna be forced to kite back. Likewise, nice target firing here on the Medivacs. Nicely done. Medivacs should be falling. Here comes the second army. The Colossus, I believe, should be at home to defend. Yeah, they're trying to respond, but they're out of position. Out of position. Probes. Oh, gonna be forced back. Mine shot going off. Colossus have arrived. So far, Shakti defends. Does he have a recall? He does. Doesn't go for it. Does try to rotate back. The Colossus! Oh my god, massive EMP and both Colossus, they're gonna go down. He gets one! No, not shot. He doesn't get it. Colossus pulls away. Did I speak too soon? Oh my god. Yeah, INexorable barely does not get the Colossus. Was so close. Down to red HP. Shakti is holding. He's holding on. INexorable still rallying across the map. Up, finds a couple Stalkers. Takes down this also runs into the main army. Oh my god. Got those 3 Colossi. To the middle line. Does drop in. Distracts some of the reinforcements. But Shakti is not stopping. He's not stopping. He's not slowing down. Still rallying in towards that third. As yeah, GG gets called. We have 4 Colossus just rocking up the ramp into the third base. And INexorable losing map control, and Shakti with a different variation of that build does take it 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Impressive play here by Shakti. Again, showing he has layers. He has layers to his play, layers to his builds. I will say that INexorable, he initially had a better response, which, forced a transition out of Shakti, that is true. But unfortunately, despite the aggression of INexorable, he did fail to snipe the Colossus. He did fail to cripple the economy. He was being very active, and the reality is that Shakti got away with the greed. He got away with the greed. He got away with some crazy play, unique play as well. GG. GG. GG, well played. Cool. So congratulations here to Shakti. That's a big win here for our Protoss player. I was favoring INexorable coming into this, but again, was kind of caught off guard, and yeah, out of left field, Shakti just knocks him out and knocks him down. And now the question becomes, who's up next? Who is up next here on the channel? Let's catch up on the bracket.